Hello, boxing fans. Welcome to another episode of World Championship Boxing. And today we're talking about a fight recap show, Wilder vs. Fury 2. And also we're going to do the greatest performances of Tyson Fury, given that he was the convincing winner of this fight. And I'm joined by Juan Silva.
Hello? That's me, calling through Skype, trying out
this
microphone you got me a year ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
All right.
the sound quality should be much better from now on, as I'm finally using this microphone that hooked up to a laptop my girlfriend got me for Christmas. I used it a few days ago on the podcast I did with Garrett Gonzalez, and the sound quality was immaculate. So from now on, unless something happens, we'll be using this microphone. And yes, I have to give Tyson Fury tremendous credit. He never looked better. He was phenomenal last night. You can make an argument, one of the 10 greatest performances in heavyweight championship boxing history. We'll be talking about his career, his 3 greatest performances, and real quickly, November 28th, 2015, when he beat a man that hadn't lost in over 10 years, Vladimir Klitschko, to become the ring heavyweight champion of the world. Then last year, his victory over Tom Schwartz. The only reason I picked this fight is because you saw Fury turn southpaw and be very tricky and show power, which he rarely has shown throughout his career. And finally, last night, in what was an incredible performance to win the WBC, which I don't recognize anymore, the ring heavyweight champion, Tyson Fury, only the second man in heavyweight history to win the Ring World Championship. I'm sorry, my bad. The third man in boxing history to be Ring Heavyweight Championship at least twice. The first one was Floyd Patterson. The second one was Muhammad Ali, who became a 3-time ring champion. And finally, Tyson Fury. So, I mean, that's phenomenal. And he will now, when he retires, whether it's tomorrow or 10 years from now, he is no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer because he beat the 2 most dominant champions of the 21st century convincingly, Vladimir Klitschko and Deontay Wilder. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk about his career. We'll start with that right now. Real quickly, Tyson's father and grandfather were gypsies from Ireland that traveled and fought bare knuckle throughout villages in Ireland and then later on in England. They were some tough mother effers, and you see that in Tyson Fury's DNA. He was a successful amateur boxer, and instead of going for the Olympics in 2008, he turned pro at the age of 20 and was just he beat a bunch of bums. And he came to America for the first time on April 20th, 2013. He went to the theater in Madison Square Garden, and he fought former world cruiserweight champion Steve Cunningham. And in that fight, Fury did not look good at all. He was dropped early by a spectacular right cross that almost put him to sleep. Early in the fight, he got up, and he wound up knocking out Cunningham, but it was not an impressive American debut for Tyson Fury. Fury would go on, and he would defeat Derek Chisora, who was one of the best young British fighters at that time. Chisora is now a journeyman, but at the time, Chisora was considered a possible up-and-coming future world champion. Fury beat him twice. After beating Chisora, Chin Hammer, and then he got the shot, November 28th, 2015, against long-reigning world champion Vladimir Klitschko. It was a dark day for heavyweights from 2005 to 2015 because the Klitschko brothers put you to sleep. They stood outside. They used their jab. They smothered you when you came inside, and you just fell asleep. Plus, the heavyweight division was at an all-time low as far as marquee fighters. It was the Klitschko brothers and a bunch of bums. Fury was the first time. Fury was taller than Vladimir is 6'7", Fury 6'9". So, and he's got a longer reach than Vladimir. And this fight He stayed outside, and he outboxed and fought tall, even taller than Klitschko. Klitschko, for the first time in his career, was looking for one shot. I could not believe what I was seeing. Round after round, Fury is, dodging in and out, landing his jab, smothering Klitschko. Klitschko could do nothing till late in the fight, where he hurt Fury a couple of times, including the 12th round. Fury was gassed, and he was in trouble, but Fury held on, won the decision, and I was thinking robbery, Logan. Even though Klitschko did nothing till the end, Klitschko didn't start fighting till the 10th round. I thought, because the fight was in Germany, and Klitschko was a German citizen at the time, fought the majority of his fights in the 21st century were held in Germany because nobody in America wanted to see him fight. Matter of fact, HBO would refuse to show his fights from time to time. This fight was shown, and a unanimous decision was shocked me because I gave Fury nine rounds, so I thought he won the fight easily. But the fight's in Germany, and I thought he was going to get robbed because it took a while before they read the decision. But the decision was read, and it would be the first time you see Fury sing after the fight was over. He proposed to his girlfriend, and it looked like the start, Logan, of a new character in boxing. A month later, he won the Ring Fighter of the Year, which, that is the MVP in boxing. That is the equivalent of the Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, and NFL, and NBA MVP, the Ring Fighter of the Year. There's no higher honor in boxing. Fury was the Ring Fighter of the Year, and he signed to fight Klitschko in a rematch. But then the demons around Tyson Fury's life began to circle around him. Drug abuse, alcoholism, bipolar, you name it, obesity. He ran through all these issues. The fight with Klitschko was delayed twice, finally postponed. Klitschko wound up fighting Anthony Joshua instead, and Joshua knocked out Klitschko to win the title vacated by Fury. But the Ring Magazine continued to recognize Fury as the world champion until early 2018, when they thought Fury was never going to fight again. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Logan, I think Tyson Fury went on Twitter and announced his retirement in early 2018, and that's what caused Ring Magazine to strip Fury of that world championship. Right after they stripped him, Fury announced his return to boxing and won in 2018 against two stiffs, Pianeta. I forgot the name of the other bum, but he beat two bums in a row to set up a shot at the WBC world champion, Deontay Wilder, December 1st, 2018. And in that fight, Fury fought a beautiful boxing match for the first 8 rounds, but then he got tired. He got dropped in the ninth from a right hand by Wilder. I had him winning 10-11, but then in the 12th round, he got hit by a ridiculous right cross left hook combination. Fury went down like he was out, and at the count of 8, he rose like a Lazarus, like the Undertaker, like a lot of people would say. I don't know what all of a sudden he woke the fuck up, held on, got a draw, and decided, and this I criticized at the time, Tyson Fury throughout his entire career has proven me wrong over and over and over again. I wanted the immediate rematch, but he said no. He signed with Bob Arum in Top Rank, and he fought two stiffs. The first we'll be talking about, Tom Schwartz. Now, Tom Schwartz had no business being in the ring with Tyson Fury. This is the second fight we're talking about in his greatest performances. But what I love about this performance with Tyson Fury was, first time I ever saw him switch from orthodox to southpaw. First round, he moved, he completely dominated, showing a great left jab. Second round, he turned southpaw and was landing that right jab at will, landed combination after combination, dropped Schwartz and busted Schwartz's nose wide the fuck open. Schwartz got up. Fury continued battering him from the southpaw stance, Referee Kenny Baylor stops the fight, and Fury, this was the most destructive I've ever seen him in a fight. He looked like, and that fight, might have been looking at that fight because that fighter you saw that night was the fighter you saw last night. But before we get to that, he then went and fought Otto Wallin, and Fury did not look good. And this is the reason why I picked Wilder. Fury against Wallin got his eye cut wide open. They could have easily stopped this fight. He persevered and built up enough points, but in the 12th round, he got staggered and was hurt badly and had to hold on to win a unanimous decision, which set up the rematch with Deontay Wilder, which did huge business, set the record for the highest gross, over $17 million for a gate, the highest gross ever in heavyweight championship boxing history. And we will go into last night's fight. We will recap last night's fight. A virtuoso performance, Logan. One of the 10 greatest heavyweight performances in heavyweight championship boxing history. This is up there with Ali's victory over Sonny Liston and Floyd and George Foreman, Cleveland Williams, because those were Ali's 3 greatest performances. Joe Frazier's win over Jimmy Ellis. George Foreman's win over Joe Frazier. Joe Lewis's first round knockout over Max Schmeling. Riddick Bowe's first win over Evander Holyfield. Lennox Lewis's win over Mike Tyson. Those are the type of Mike Tyson's destruction of Trevor Berbick. Larry Holmes' win over Jerry Cooney. This fight last night joins those iconic fights as one of the 10 greatest heavyweight performances of last night. The fight started with the first minute of the fight. I saw Wilder landing his jab, and I thought maybe something's different. Landed a right hand flush on Fury, and Fury shook it off like nothing happened. And that was the end of the night for Deontay Wilder, as he did nothing else after that. Fury took the last 2 minutes and won the first round. Second round, Wilder backed him up against the ropes, began landing combinations. And in the third round, landed a right hand off the top of Wilder's head that clearly concussed Wilder, and Wilder was it. After that, Wilder got up, but he was fighting on instinct and heart. He took a horrendous beating. Fourth round, his right eardrum was busted open. Fifth round, he went down from a body shot to the ribs. They should have stopped this fight after the fifth round. They continued to let this guy in. He's got that one. Oh, he still got one. Well, you can't generate any power if your legs are gone. His legs are gone. He had no legs, just like George Foreman against Ali and Zaire. He couldn't knock out Ali because his legs were gone. Once you know, Logan, power comes from the strength of your legs. Wilder was throwing haymakers and glancing off the top of his head. He even landed a couple uppercuts. He had no legs. There was no power behind his punches. And Fury wisely was grabbing him in the headlock and putting all 273 pounds on top of Wilder, punishing him both to the face and physically exhausting him.
Dirty fighting. A lot of dirty fighting.
But you know what? It worked. And I give Fury credit. And they took a point away from him, but didn't matter. They could have taken 20 points away from last night. He wasn't losing. Seventh round, he's battering Wilder up against the ropes. Mark Breland throws in the towel wisely. And Tyson Fury is now the third man in boxing history to be ring heavyweight champion of the world for at least the second time. And, I mean, he's beaten 2 dominant world champions. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the man. And in boxing right now, Canelo 1, Tyson Fury 1A.
Wow. I think he's the greatest promo since Ali. What do you think?
In the heavyweight division, without a doubt. There have been other. I mean, Floyd. I'd still give Floyd the better promo. You watch his 24/7s. Floyd was sensational. He sold money on those promos. But as far as the heavyweights go, it's not even close. Tyson Fury's number 2 after Ali in the history of the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
As far as on the mic, he's very, very charismatic, funny guy. Does things to get in your head. I didn't like that licking the blood off of Wilder. Wilder said that was on. He could have got sick off that shit. Don't do that. And by the way,
well, that was the mind frame though he was in though. He was just like I'm doing the, I'm going full on savage.
And his mouthpiece said Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean he just fucked with Deontay all night. And by the way, don't feel too bad for Deontay Wilder. He made $30 million last night, and he gets to go home after he gets out the hospital, which I think he was released this morning. He has one of the sexiest women of any athlete in the world. Taylor Swift is his girl. You could do a Google search. And when he walked into the ring last night, that ass was exploded from here to across the street. That girl, that woman, has ass. I said for days, no. I said for weeks, no. I said for a year, no. For years, I'd stick my tongue in that booty hole and won't take it out. Oh, my God. So, Deontay, you lost last night. Career, and you are a winner in life because unlike Terrence Crawford's fat, sloppy woman, you've got a winner.
Yeah, I'm looking at her. She looks
pretty
great.
Look at her. Look at her. Pretty great. Great is an understatement. She's got it all. Face, titties, ass, legs, and she got it all. Oh, my. And that's natural because she's looked like that since day one. No need for any plastic surgery. She used to be on a show with Brandy Rhodes. Talk about beauty called Wags. Wags Atlanta, the reality show. It was her and Brandy Rhodes were the sexiest women on that program about these black women who are trying to make it with in sports and with athletes. Of course, Brandy with Dustin and Telly with Deontay. So beautiful girl. I mean, when he walked into the ring, I got tweeted and text by like 11 different people. Yo, you see that ass? Rob, you see that?
Now, but let's talk about Wilder. Let's talk about
go ahead.
What he must have came in with just his typical game plan. I'm going to catch him with my right hand.
No. When the fight started, he was trying to. First minute of the fight, he was using that jab. But
he was.
Wilder does not know how to fight backing up. I thought Fury was full of crap when he said he was going to come at Wilder. He came at Wilder, and Wilder could not adjust. He came at Wilder. When Fury started coming at Wilder midway through the first round and backing him up and bullying him, Wilder could not adjust. Wilder has to have separation to land that right cross. Fury smothered Wilder's power. Beautifully done by Tyson Fury. An incredible game plan. And after hitting him on top of the head in the third round and knocking him down, that was it. Wilder never recovered from that. And Fury could do whatever he wanted to do and put a beating that very similar to Ruiz's beating of Joshua last year.
Yeah.
There is a rematch clause. No, please, Wilder, refuse the third fight. Go take time off. Get your head together. You took the type of beating that could end careers. They fight a third time because the contract would be for an August or September fight. That'll be it. He'll make a lot of money, but he has no shot in the world at beating Fury right now. No. Refuse.
Now, you're saying no one has done this to Wilder before? No one's tried to smother him and go after him, make him fight from backing up?
No, because even Ortiz, who almost knocked him out, he did it from the outside. Ortiz did it as he was boxing. No one ever tried to go in on him and smother his punches. No, because he was always afraid of that right hand. Fury knew that if he boxed from the outside, he could get caught again. He went after Wilder. Him and his trainer and Joe Tessitore, the announcer last night, the lead announcer on the pay-per-view. You suck. The trainer's name is not Sugar Hill Stewart. That's Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. His name is Javon Sugar Hill, not Sugar Hill Stewart, stupid motherfucker.
He was calling him Sugar Hill Stewart.
He calling him, that's not his name. Oh, my God. just uh, boxing is the only sport, and I've said this before, where they allow anybody to announce. And Tessitore should know better. He's been announcing boxing for over 20 years. Tessitore's the same guy who a couple years ago said that the Jorge Linares-Vasily Lomachenko fight was the biggest lightweight title fight in Madison Square Garden in over 40 years, when I attended a fight with my father back in 1986, which would have been 30-something years ago, when Hector Camacho beat Edwin Rosario, one of the greatest lightweight fights of all time, a fight that we talked about here on the greatest fight in boxing history. Shut up. Shut up. Just, you know what? Just shut up. Just ESPN has so many better announcers than Joe Tessitore. There's a young, sexy female named Christina Poncher, who's a very good boxing analyst. She did the pay-per-view last night overseas. She knows the sport, and she doesn't try to be bombastic like Tessitore goes. Oh, what a right hand! Shut up. He does the same thing on Monday Night Football. I used to like Joe when he was with Teddy Atlas, but since they got rid of Teddy Atlas, he has gotten worse and worse. There goes that Mark Kriegel influence on you. By the way, Andre Ward and Lennox Lewis were both excellent last night. Got no qualms with them. But Tessitore, Sugar Hill Stewart, the hell out of here.
All right,
and Max, and then Max Kellerman. I love Max. I met him in real life. Nice dude, tremendous hip hop historian, tremendous boxing historian, and it's a great analyst. Last night he lost points when he said before the fight, Tyson Fury is one of the greatest defensive fighters in heavyweight history. That's bullshit. You don't get knocked down by Steve Cunningham and twice by Wilder and cut up by a bum like Valine. You know, fighters like Ali in his prime didn't do that. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, go ahead, Logan. Say what you were saying.
Well, I mean, what he's saying is he frustrates people with his style, and he does end up making people miss a certain amount. Not the way.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's unorthodox. That's all. Yeah.
Very unorthodox, but he can be hit. I mean, he's been hit plenty of times in his career. He's just been able to get up. And till last night, I was never convinced that he was a great fighter. Last night, he proved to me that he was a great fighter, because we don't do greatest performances for good fighters. We do it for great fighters. So congratulations for Tyson Fury. He is the man in the heavyweight division, and right now, he is the greatest heavyweight champion of the 21st century. I got to give it to him. He beat Klitschko, he beat Wilder, and he would beat Joshua if they fought. And Eddie Hearn came out last night, let's do it for the summer. I don't know if that's hyperbole, but if he's sincere, let's get it done. I don't want to hear this nonsense, Joshua's got 2 mandatories. Those belts don't mean shit. The only championship that means anything, and the only champion that means anything, is Tyson Fury. Why do you want to hold these sanctioning belts that get a percentage of your salary? Throw them in the garbage and say, come on, Tyson Fury, let's go. We don't need the WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, ABC, NFL, NHL, XYZ. Fuck them. Let's get in the ring and put the 2 best heavyweights in the world, forget the sanctioning bodies, have them fight each other. And if they do that, and if they fight this year, Fury wins, and he'll win his 2nd Ring Fighter of the Year award. He'll win this. Right now, he's the leading contender for our Fighter of the Year by a million miles.
So you don't think that Joshua wouldn't just be better off using the jab than Wilder was, and then be able to do better?
Joshua's got a better jab than Fury. The problem I have is Fury, like you've stated, like Max stated, he's very tricky and unorthodox, and we don't know how Fury's going to – is he going to come at Joshua? Joshua fights better backing up than Wilder, so I don't know if he's going to try that strategy. And Joshua's a better in-fighter than Wilder. So we'll see. We'll see. Very interesting fight. Right now, because of what happened last night and because how Joshua's looked the last year, I would pick Fury by decision, by unanimous decision, winning 7 or 8 rounds. I would pick him right now if they fought each other right away.
Now, a lot of people I noticed that haven't really watched boxing. You know, they tuned into this fight, and they maybe used to watch boxing in the 80s. And I've heard just from different comments about it, they're like, man, boxers used to be good. These two look like they suck. I mean, that's what some people were saying. Like, can you explain maybe that reaction? People that actually grew up in the 70s watching boxing.
Oh, okay, well, they haven't watched boxing since Mike Tyson got knocked out by Evander Holyfield.
Right.
So they haven't watched boxing over 20 years. So they haven't seen, I mean, if you don't follow the sport and you're not even a casual, you happen to buy this pay-per-view, and those guys bought the pay-per-view, and you read all this hype. No, heavyweight boxing has changed. It's not the era of the 70s where you had the greatest era of boxing in heavyweight boxing history with Ali, Norton, Frazier, Foreman, Holmes, a sensational era. It's not the era of the 90s, the second greatest era in heavyweight history, where you had Bo, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. No, those guys were athletic superstars who could do it all. Wilder is a one-trick pony. Fury is an unorthodox fighter that frustrates you. That's the only way they can win. Fury's not going to stand there and trade with you. Wilder's not going to dance for 12 rounds like Ali did and outbox you. He's looking to land that one missile. So it's different. It's different. Of all the heavyweights today, the closest to a Lennox Lewis, I always said this, Anthony Joshua, to me, is a poor man's Lennox Lewis. He's got all the tools. He'd have to put them all together to beat Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury is one of those fighters, stylistically, he doesn't look as beautiful as Joshua. Physically, he doesn't look as beautiful as Joshua. But Fury's one of those fighters, one of those athletes that finds ways to win. And right now, gun to my head, he finds a way to win. Maybe he takes Joshua to deep waters. Joshua's stamina is very suspect and knocks out Joshua late or wins the last few rounds to win a comfortable decision. That's the way I see it.
Also, I see that from his struggle with his own demons, he's come back from that, I think, stronger than Joshua came back from his defeat. I think Joshua's still on shaky ground, even after he won.
You know what? I agree with that point. That's an excellent point. I agree with that. Fury's going through hell and overcame it. I mean, the man was obese, sniffing cocaine at a record pace, drinking his life into oblivion. He even did PEDs during this time. He was a mess, and he turned it all around. Got to be his wife. If she would have left him, it probably would have been the end of it. She stood by him. Credit to Mrs. Fury. Behind a strong man is always a great woman, and he overturned his life because she was there for him. If she would have left him, he probably would have put a bullet in his head. She stood by his side. If she had left him, if he don't put a bullet to his head, he's somewhere in a shack in England snorting lines right now.
He's on top of the world now. Do you think there's any chance of him letting those demons come back? There's always that shot, right? I mean, he could end up.
He's got to do. He's an addict, and all addicts know. I grew up with addicts. My father was an addict. He lived with it day to day. So he's constantly being watched. He has to be. I mean, as long as his support system is intact and he stays true to himself, he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay.
All right. Well,
I'm glad we didn't see any champagnes being popped in his in his dressing room last night.
Yeah, they were pouring over his head.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm glad you didn't see that. A lot of times a camp's entourage forgets the demons they're dealing with. Oh, let's drink this champagne, baby. Let's get the Hennessy.
Yeah, it's funny that the guy who he's named after picked Deontay Wilder to win.
19 out of 20 former heavyweight champions and contenders picked Wilder. So Mike's not the only one.
Right.
Holyfield, Lewis, everybody else picked. And by the way, yes, it is true. It is true. Yeah, hey, he proved me wrong. Like I said at the beginning, Tyson Fury proved me wrong, and I admit The man's a great fighter. He's an all-time great. He's the best heavyweight of the 2000s so far. We still got a long way to go, and he still has a fight with a possible fight with Joshua and Alexander Usyk. He wins those fights, and then it'll be a long time before anybody surpasses him as the man of the 21st century. He proved me wrong last night. That's why we're doing his greatest performance.
Usyk has a shot against him?
Usyk has a shot because Usyk reminds me of Evander Holyfield, but Fury will have a huge advantage for one thing. He would be 6 inches taller and about 60 pounds heavier. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Usyk, he won't be like Wilder. Usyk could fight off his back foot. Usyk could box from the outside. Usyk could fight inside. Usyk reminds me of Evander Holyfield. That will be a terrific fight because all that shenanigans, Fury will fight, and that will be a great battle. I think this might be a fight where Usyk's superior punching power, Fury's superior punching power would have to would have to shine. And I think he would have to knock out Usyk, not try to beat Usyk by decision.
All right, which is no easy deal because he's got a chin, you can tell. But we'll be monitoring this heavyweight situation and reporting out. Hopefully we will get that unification fight soon. And really a thrilling night, a good night, a great night for him. Like you said, Deontay Wilder, he can take some time off, prove his game, get that jab really working. I think he could be still a force to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division.
We just got to see the after effects of this beating. He took very similar to Joshua, same type of beating. He was concussed, eardrum busted. That's hard. And just that alone, he shouldn't be fighting till at least October, November at the earliest. He's got to recover.
I think the fight is less humiliating because he lost to a much better fighter. What do you think?
Yeah, without a doubt. His problem was once his legs were gone, that was it. That was it. He couldn't jab. He couldn't do anything. But I give him credit. He could have easily, when he went down the third round, stayed down. He could have quit in his corner. He was trying. And
talk about that knockdown. That knockdown was to the body, right?
That was second knockdown. The first knockdown. The first knockdown was the top. Yeah, it was a nice shot to the ribs that Wilder was backing up and went down. That was Fury did it all last night. He went to the body, he jabbed, he broke you down, he mauled you. He did it all last night.
Another thing that Fury does that I think is great when they're trying to go for the break, he's hitting you little bits on the side, on the body. Did you see that? That's the kind of dirty boxing he does. He'll hit you a couple times during the break.
Hey, if you can get away with it, do it. Evander Holyfield, one of the greatest fighters of all time, he used that head as a third punch. He has a third head.
Yeah, I noticed he did kind of use his head too. Fury did. Like when he would come in, his head was right there.
There were several headbutts in last night's fight. Because remember, they both coming at each other. Their heads are going to collide if the punches don't.
Fury was I think his mental game was just much stronger than Wilder. Wilder, I think
it was much more. But Wilder looked relaxed, serious. When Wilder came in the ring, I was like, yeah, he's ready to fight. It wasn't that. It was Fury had the perfect game plan. Wilder doesn't know how to fight, back it up. And then once after he got batted with that right hand on the top of the head, he was concussed. He was on he was in danger, la land for the next 4 rounds.
It was a surprising fight. I think for a lot of people that were watching it, I think they came away from it feeling just that it wasn't the best Wilder, that maybe if he was just having an off night, they're going to make excuses.
There's no excuses. There's no excuses. I'm hearing shit now. Oh, he came into the fight with a bad leg. Shut the fuck up, right? I don't want to hear that BS, right? He got his ass kicked. He got his ass handed to him last night. He got beat from pillar, but one of the biggest beatings in heavyweight championship history. Period. Only thing I give Wilder is he showed a ton of heart. He's got a very good chin because somebody else would have went through the ropes and wouldn't have got back up. So
But
shout
he may
out
have
to
provided,
Deontay. Go ahead.
Yeah, he may have provided the formula to beating him, though. I mean, for other fighters, because now that they've seen this, he kind of exposed him, right? He exposed him.
So what similar to when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. You see the formula now, and other fighters are going to know, well, I can't outbox this guy. I'm going to have to come at him.
Yeah. I think there's going to be it's going to be tough for him to use what he's been winning with all this time up till now, because now people know, they see his secret weakness. His weakness is getting crowded.
Yep.
That's it.
Get inside him, bang his bodies, knee him in the balls, pull down his head.
Yeah, put him in a fucking headlock.
Yeah, them headlocks were vicious.
I thought he was gonna do a suplex on him or something. I was like, what the hell?
No, rude awakening.
Or DDT.
DDT, even better. But shout out to Tyson Fury, a much-deserved victory last night, and his place in boxing history is secured. It can only get better. Can't get worse. It can only get better, because he has just let's hope that he stays on the right path, that he continues to beat his demons, and much success. I mean, because he is a huge asset for boxing. I mean, he's an international figure. The man is funny. He's charismatic, and he's a great fighter. Go ahead.
He's going into wrestling too. He's like doing everything. Like he's becoming a superstar, like a household name.
As long as he stays away from MMA, he's good to go.
Yeah, I think he will. I think what's going to happen is somebody from MMA is going to want to come in and fight him, which he'll be glad to fucking kill them. So
I know.
Because I think Tyson Fury loves that kind of stuff. Like he
loves it. He loves it, which is surprising, because for 3 years he was a sabbatical. He was in exile.
Right.
His own
we wrote him off. Exile. Remember?
Yeah, because I thought that was it. I remember when we talked about it in the program. He's 300 pounds, snorting cocaine. I was making fun of him. I said he's no longer the equation. Well, he is the equation right now.
He's amazing. So congrats to him. Well deserved.
One last time, congratulations, Tyson Fury. Next weekend, up in the air as far as what we're going to do. I'll text you Saturday night. My man is back. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is fighting next week on DAZN. Either it's a fight recap or the greatest performances in Chocolatito's career. We'll talk more about that during the week on Twitter. Because if Chocolatito loses, then it's just a fight recap. But if he wins and he fights Khalid Yafai for one of the sanctioning belts, super flyweight titles. Yafai is a slick boxer. He's got no punch. Chocolatito, if he may have that one last great fight in him, we'll see. I'm predicting a Chocolatito knockout. Let's hope one of my favorite fighters of the 21st century, one of the 5 greatest fighters of the 21st century so far.
I got a caller on the line here. Let's see what this person says.
We're running out of time, though. Let's see. Go ahead.
All right, who is this?
Yeah, this is Alfonso.
Alfonso.
What's up, Alfonso? What's up, big man?
Oh, how you doing? Yeah, man. I was calling in about the fight last night. I thought 270 was too big for Tyson. He proved me wrong on that. He carried the weight, well than I thought he would, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I didn't think that he really could, hurt Wilder, the way he did, you know what I mean? Because I had seen him, throw snapping right hands on other people's chin, and they just look at him. So, like I said, I was surprised about a few things with Tyson Fury. He's throwing a good performance. But at the same time, when I look at Deontay Wilder, a lot of things that people were saying that have caught up with him. It's good to have power, but you can tell that his lack of mechanics, the wide stance, his balance, even before he got hurt with the shot to his ear, you could tell he wanted to do things like he wanted to slip and counter the right hand, but the mechanics wasn't there. He wanted to throw the right to the body, but his balance wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? When he tried to the right to the body. He even wanted to counter the jab with a left hook, but like again, the balance wasn't in, the mechanics ain't there. You know, he tries to charge everything up. You know, try to charge up a right hand, try to charge up his left hook, and it's like some stuff you got to throw short. You know, you can't put power on everything. So it's like, to me, it's just a lot of stuff that's wrong with his balance and his technique that caught up with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was using he got a good jab. So he was using the jab, he was jabbing down, trying to drive him to the pit of the stomach and jab him up top. But again, it's a different look when you got a man that's 6'9" and they got the same amount of reach. That's why he kept getting, you know, he was pulling back, his head movement is bogus, and he was trying to slip the jab, but he was pulling back on it. So then when Fury started throwing the left hook, he was trying to put his arm out, and you can do that with a shorter man. But when a man got the same amount of length arm as you, and you go to put your arm out and lean your head back, you putting yourself right there with the left hook. Supposed to either go into it or slip your head over to the right. So you just seen all of his, you know, it's like you could see that all of that, he didn't have his fundamentals to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, now that he walking forward, you know what I mean, it's different than having a fight on the back foot with a man that's shorter than you. You know what I'm saying? So and it just all of this stuff now it done caught up with him, because he was still able to come forward. Like, matter of fact, also his old trainer, Ben Davison, he broke it down. He said anytime Wilder goes to throw the right hand, he throws it as a 1-2. So he brings the jab first, and then he charges up the right hand, and he brings the right hand. And you could tell Fury had trained for that. Like, he was rolling it, he was stepping back, you know, so he nullified that. And then Wilder don't have no other fallback mechanism to deliver his right hand to you. So it was just like, he was just completely, you know, outboxed, outsmarted. And it's like, to me, like, people saying, okay, he's 34 years old. But to me, I kind of comparing him to George Foreman, where when he lost to Ali, where he had to kind of go back to the gym, and he had to kind of, you know, fall back into, you know, being a boxer. You know, I think he could do it personally. I think that he's going to have to get away from Mark Breland and the other guy, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, they should have been telling him. Like, to me, he looked worse. He looked wilder in this fight than he done looked in his last 3 fights, the way he was trying to punch. So it was just like, he need to get back to the drawing board and work on his mechanics and his footwork. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say. But
Alfonso, don't go anywhere. Alfonso, you're saying exactly what I've been saying the last 2 years. When both his fights against Luis Ortiz, the first fight against Fury, where he's just looking to land that one shot, Paul with the jab through the right hand. I've always said, Alfonso, if Emmanuel Stewart had not died and taken Wilder under his wing, imagine the type of fighter Wilder would have become with that power. Remember what he did for Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis had a very similar style where he was pulling with the jab and just looking to land that right hand. Wilder needs to get rid of his camp and bring in a trainer that could accentuate his natural ability. He's a naturally gifted fighter who is only looking to land that right hand and using his jab as a means to get to that. He could be a lot better, and you brought up great points, Alfonso. Alfonso, do you have a Twitter handle? Give it out, because you nailed the fight down the middle, right down the pipe.
Oh, no, I don't have a Twitter. You know, like I boxed myself for like 12 years, you know, beautiful. But, you know, yeah, you know, like I said, I'm not going, you know, like I said, beautiful, you know, Tyson Fury, I give it to him. He fought a good fight. You know what I'm saying? They had a good, solid game plan. You know, and like I said, he got for him, man, his size, he got a good, snappy jab and right hand, and it's fast. I give it to him. You know what I'm saying? And he went to the body. Yeah, he did a lot of good things in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can see the Tyson Fury versus Joshua. You know, and I hope that be a good fight. You know, we get to see that.
You don't want to see a rematch between these.
There's no need for one. There's no need for a third fight. Like Alfonso said, Wilder was exposed last night, and you can't put Wilder back in right away with Fury. It's just going to be the same thing.
Yeah, like I said, to me, no, I agree with it. It's like he would have to me, go back to the gym and really get in the gym because, like I said, he don't have like I said when he tried to counter the jab and he don't his fundamentals the base being like when he started trying to fight off because he kept going to the right, and when you trying to fight off the back foot, you have to for one he wasn't even catching the jab. It's certain things that he could have did like catching his jab. His feinting up top and when he was going to the pit of the stomach. It was just certain things that he was doing where it's like you have to have them fundamentals in the gym first. If he go back out there, man, I think really Tyson Fury probably would abuse him more. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like like I say, he got his number, and then like I said, Wilder don't have like no short punches. You know what I'm saying? It's like when a man is coming at you like that, it's just you have to be able to fall back on a different wavelength when somebody is pressing you like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think that he needs to, go back to the gym and then take another opponent, or whatever so you can get used to your newer skills.
Style.
But, his newer style, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, Tyson Fury and AJ need to fight next, I think, for the unified title.
That only makes sense. Alfonso, thanks for the call, man. You brought up great, valid points, especially from an experienced boxer like yourself. You could call anytime, big man.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate taking my call.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. So, One Silver, man, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks again, Alfonso. We'll talk next week, man.
Peace, brother.
Peace, everybody. Peace.